Hey everybody, welcome to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. I am John Clark, and the Eagles are starting the toughest stretch in the NFL over the next month, facing 4 playoff teams, starting with the Seahawks on Monday night. And Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson together are 0-4 against Seattle. Can they finally solve them? A lot of it is going to be on the Birds' defense. Let's check in with the linebackers coach, Ken Flajole. Here's tape study with our own Fran Duffy. It's presented by Chickies and Pete's.
Well, joining us this week here for tape study presented by Chickies and Pete's, Eagles linebackers coach Ken Flajole. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, let's talk through this goal line stand from the first quarter, Coach, and really just kind of take us through what makes it work and some of the little things that really helped lead to the stop. And we'll start here on first down. I'll run stuff in the middle.
Yeah, they get into their goal line personnel, and obviously we substitute and we go to our goal line package, which brings in 6 defensive linemen and really 4 linebackers and 1 safety. So they're getting big to run the ball, and we're getting big to try to stop the run. But this is our goal line package, and this has kind of been one of their standard runs down in the goal line, is what we call a lead-O. Got a fullback leading on the front side linebacker, number 57, and then they bring the offside guard around. And all they're trying to do really, Fran, is just knock color out of the hole. I mean, it's the ball's on the 1-yard line. Anything that's a 1-yard gain or more is success for the offense. So, again, that guard doesn't have a particular blocking assignment other than just to push the pile and knock any off-color jersey out of the hole. The reason we had success on this down is, number one, I'll just bring your attention to 91, Fletcher Cox. Fletcher does a great job of getting penetration to begin with, and he really knocks their tackle back, which prevents their guard to really come around and get up on TJ Edwards. All right, now the fullback's going to search TJ, but as I mentioned, the guard is just going to block color out of the hole. So the fact that the guard can't get up creates an advantage for the defense. So TJ does a nice job of playing downhill into that open gap. We get Alex Singleton as an overlap linebacker on this particular play. And again, nice job by everybody along the front. But I would just say this. To me, the beginning point begins the fact that number 91 wins the down on the tackle. That's where, in my opinion, that's where the play got stopped initially. And then we've got great pursuit to the ball, and we clean up the pile.
So now let's go to third down now. On second down, Baker Mayfield throws an incomplete pass. So we come back now, third down on the goal line. Take us through what made this play work.
All right, so they shift to a double wing formation. They're still in their goal line package, as are we. And we adjust with our linebackers. As you can see it, we've got balance against their formation. And they're going to try to run what we call a lead play. They've got this little jet motion, and they're pulling their front side guard for Davion Taylor. So he's going to try to set the edge for us. He's going to kick that inside leg up on contact and try to firm that thing up. And then now Alex Singleton right now is going to try to pick up Rodney McLeod, who's coming behind him on the jet motion. Alex is going to try to put that jet motion guy that's leading up, all right, back up on his inside pad. And then we're going to try to knock everything back to TJ Edwards and back to Rodney McLeod. And now we didn't fit this up perfect, but I think the unsung hero, in my opinion, on this one is Malik Jackson. He does a nice job of stalemating the tackle. He gets some penetration, and he's able to tear off late on the down, and we get a little bit of a body on the running back, and we get him down short of the goal line. Now, we got some guys pursuing from the backside, but when you get those big 300-pounders now leaning on you, you have a tendency to go down fast. Gave us a chance to play fourth down and give us another chance to defend one more play.
So, Coach, that was a third down stop. Now take us through this fourth down stop. And I guess before the snap, we see this little motion here where they take the running back and kind of switch the formation. If you can kind of just take us through what impact does that have and what are they trying to accomplish there with that late motion?
What they're hoping, as you guys can see, is they've set the tight end to the defense's right now. And what they're hoping it happens right now is that, again, when they float, what I call float the back to the other side, then what they're trying to do is they're trying to create, see if you're going to shift the front, if you're going to change where your 3 technique tackle is and where your 2-eye is. Now, we were in a front that didn't require that to happen. This was not a big zone read team. There's a lot to it, but we stayed in what we called our jet front. and Alex Singleton has that close side A, and TJ Edwards has that open side B, and they just try to run a belly open play and see if they can stick it in there and gain that yard. If they can push that front, get that yard that they need for the touchdown. The front did a great job of firming it up. I think TJ and Alex did a nice job of firming up their gaps. But again, the guy to me that made the play was 21. He's got to take the ball off the down block on that 3 technique that we've got right there. And he does a great job at triggering fast. And Jalen got just enough of them as this play went to review that when this guy went down, you can see he puts his elbow down, touches the ground just prior short of the goal line before the ball crosses. And in our rules, that means down by contact, and it was short. This was a big momentum swing for us. Anytime you can take points off the board and hold them on a goal line stand, it gives the defense great juice, and it's a great game changer in my opinion.
Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by your local Tri-State Toyota dealers, proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. Pepsi, your new official soft drink of your Philadelphia Eagles. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Pick up your Eagles Fast Play ticket today. Hey everybody, welcome back to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota and Ike Reese. The one positive you can take out of this game against the Browns, you take out the interception return for a touchdown and a safety. Eagles defense only gave up 13 points.
Yeah, I thought they did a nice job, John. I mean, going up against this Cleveland Brown offense, you knew they would have a tough job holding down this rushing attack. And with the exception of the one big run from Nick Chubb, they did a great job versus the run. Nice job in the red zone, getting off the field on 4th down. If there's one thing that I would like to see the defense improve upon is when the offense does score, not allowing the opposing team's offense to go back down the field and get points. That happened twice this past week. I thought that kind of stalled the momentum, but I thought the defense did a great job. Listen, they set up the first points for the Eagles by getting a takeaway and giving the Eagles offense the ball deep in Cleveland territory. So for the most part, I thought they did a very good job against the Cleveland Browns, but when your total team is struggling, you're always going to want a little bit more. And I think this defense has the ability to do a little bit more.
You are exactly right, Ike. We saw some very good things from the Eagles defense last week. This week against the Seahawks, they're facing a totally different offense, and the challenges are much, much different. This is an offense that has a lot of explosive speed on the outside, with 2 players in particular, Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. And we know how good Russell Wilson can be throwing the ball down the field and also with his second reaction ability. One thing that the Seahawks really like to do with Lockett and Metcalf is they like to run kind of what we call mirrored crossing routes. They're intermediate vertical route concepts, and they're very effective versus man coverage, which is what the Eagles play a pretty high percentage of. So that's something you have to be aware of because both Metcalf and Lockett can run away from man coverage. Now, the Seahawks also at times will line up in empty sets, and you will see that. And here's a really good example of that. Metcalf is lined up in the slot. The Seahawks have moved Metcalf around a lot more this year. He's more versatile in terms of where he lines up. Now, this is a great example because they play off those crossing routes, those deep over routes that Metcalf runs so well. And here he's matched against one of the best man-to-man corners in the NFL in Stephon Gilmore. So what does Metcalf do? He really sells the crosser. He stems inside hard, and Gilmore starts to play underneath it, knowing that he has safety help over the top. Look at him at the top of his route stem, stick inside and then break to the outside on the deep corner route, and he beats Gilmore. This is really good route running. And what do we know about Russell Wilson? He throws a beautiful deep ball. This one's probably a hair underthrown, but Metcalf is so good at the catch point, he makes the catch for the 54-yard touchdown. So this is a different challenge for the Eagles than they faced a week ago against Cleveland, and it's a much tougher challenge because of the big play explosive ability of the Seahawks receivers.
Oh, yeah, one of the best passing attacks in football. And how about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? 17 combined touchdowns, most of any two receivers in the NFL on the same team. So, Mike Quick, how the heck are you going to defend these guys?
Yeah, they're tough to defend, John. And everyone knows that Russell Wilson is one of the best deep ball throwers in all of football. Now he's got DK Metcalf, and that just makes it even tougher. But when you pay too much attention to him, Tyler Lockett, the guy who's been on the end of a lot of those plays for several years now, that guy can really carve you up. He's got 67 receptions already. 8 of those touchdowns that you spoke of, they go to Tyler Lockett. He can beat you short. You know, he does a lot of the gritty work. They move him around. He's in the slot. He's outside. The guy is a well-rounded receiver, and when you pay too much attention to the big guy, Metcalf, look out. Tyler Lockett will eat your lunch.
Yeah, well, the one thing is Russell Wilson has been sacked a lot this year. So, Ike Reese, when you take a look at a guy like Josh Sweat coming off a good game with a sack, a couple tackles for loss, how well is he playing?
I think he's playing very well. You know, the 23-year-old, third-year defensive end out of Florida State, starting to show why the Eagles felt like they got a steal in the draft in the 4th round when drafting Josh Sweat. His speed, his ability to get around the corner, that's all starting to be put together by Josh Sweat in his 3rd year. You watch him last week, another sack against Cleveland, where he shows he's using his hands to get around defensive ends. And the one thing I like about Josh Sweat that every defensive end has to learn, and it's better when you learn it at a young age, is you have to have some sort of counter move. So you watch him against 7-time Pro Bowler Trent Williams, and he's gonna beat him with a power rush. These are the things that Josh Sweat has started to add to his repertoire. On the season, 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. He got quarterback hits. Josh Sweat starting to show he's a valuable commodity when you look at this defensive end package that the Eagles have. I'm excited to watch Josh Sweat not only this week, but through the rest of the season.
Everybody always looks so much bigger on TV.
I know, right?
But I know it's no change for me.
How tall are you?
Huh?
How tall
Don't
are
worry
you?
about That's confidential, bro.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. Classified information.
I won't worry.
Hey, the big boys need water. Big boys need water. Big boys, big boys, big boys. Here we go, fellas. Here we go. Here we go. We got time.
Plenty of time.
We got
plenty of
time. Come on! Come on! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Hey, we made it. We made it.
I made it. Steak dinner.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. And Mike Quick, one thing you've seen the Eagles do well against the Giants and against the Browns is run the ball. What are you seeing in the running game, and do you want to see more of it?
I just think it's a smart running approach attack. And it's really based on getting good angles on the defenders. And John, if we watch this play, you watch when the ball is snapped, one of the first things that you'll see Lane Johnson come across on the trap. He's trapping that 3-technique tackle, and it's a great angle for him to hold that block. On the left side, you'll see Jason Peters climb to the 2nd level. You'll see Isaac Seumalo go to the outside. The biggest block in this whole play is Dallas Goedert on the backside, holding that end off. And boy, when you can create lanes like that, you can run the football. This team, schematically, they run the ball really well. I just want to see a lot more of it because they can run the football. They've proven that, especially over the last couple of weeks.
Mike, one guy that the Eagles will have to be aware of in the run game is Jamal Adams. He's basically a box player. He's almost a glorified linebacker, and he's very good in the box versus the run. But there's another area in which he's really good, and that's as a blitzer. And because this season the Seahawks have not had a strong pass rush, they have used Adams as a blitzer in a number of different ways. Now, one way they like to use him, one particular alignment that you will see, is when they line up in what we call a double mug front. And that's where they have their two linebackers in their sub-nickel package, and that's KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner. What they do is they line up in the A-gaps. This is something we see throughout the league. Seattle does this quite a bit. Normally the way to defend that and block it is the center and the back in the backfield have to account for the two A-gap players, Wright and Wagner. The Seahawks know this, so what do? They often bring Adams off the edge, and often they bring him up slowly so you don't know that he's coming. It's really well done and well disguised. And this sack against Atlanta is a great example of that, because you see the back Todd Gurley step inside for Bobby Wagner. That's his responsibility and protection, and there is no one on the edge to pick up Adams, and he makes the sack. Now, teams obviously know this about the Seahawks and their defense, so very often they try to account for Adams. You'll see this here against Buffalo. It's the same look, same double mug front with Wright and Wagner in the A-gaps. And here you're going to see Adams on the outside again. Buffalo knew this. So what did they do? They lined up with an extra blocker on the line of scrimmage. That's the tight end, Dawson Knox. And he was in perfect position to block Adams on the blitz from the outside. But this is where Adams is so good. Adams just ran through Knox and sacked Josh Allen. And this is what Jamal Adams brings to the table. And this is what the Eagles must be aware of, because Adams is used quite a bit out of the sub-nickel, the 5 defensive back package, as a blitzer. And you must account for him. You cannot let him run free. Remember, in the run game and as a blitzer, he plays near the line of scrimmage. You know where he is, so you have to account for him. You cannot let him wreck your run game or your pass game.
Jamal Adams is a lethal blitzer, and when you look at the Carson Wentz interception return for a touchdown against the Browns, it was a blitzing defensive back that really helped cause that. So, Mike Quick, what happened on that play?
Well, it's just a breakdown in assignment, John. You know, everyone has to be assignment sound. You're going to get the blitzer coming from the second level, coming off the offense's right side. You know, Carson, when he gets the football, he looks to the left side, and he's a little bit worried about the safety coming over the top and possibly getting a pick, so he holds on to it a little bit long, and it's just long enough to take that pop when he tries to hit the check down to his halfback. Taki ends up with a pick 6, but it really gets back to being assignment sound. If the tight end picks up that blitz as he should have, then Carson has a little bit more time, and you don't have this catastrophe that you have.
Last week, Carson Wentz was hit repeatedly, sacked 4 times just on 3rd down alone. That's a hard way to make a living as an offense. It makes it difficult to extend drives and put points on the board. And they're going to see a familiar foe, someone they saw earlier this year, an 11-year vet, 2-time Pro Bowler, Carlos Dunlap, when he was with Cincinnati. Seattle has traded for Carlos Dunlap, and he's paying big dividends for them. Of his 4.5 sacks that he has on the year, 3.5 of them have come when he got traded to Seattle, 2 last week against Arizona. The offensive line, who struggled picking up Olivier Vernon last week, are going to have to do a great job of blocking Carlos Dunlap. He has the ability to wreck your offense by getting penetration and being disruptive in the backfield. Carlos Dunlap is someone that we must pay attention to this week.
Welcome back to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. One thing the Eagles offense has to do is start faster. Over the last 5 weeks, they're averaging just 4 points in the first half. That is worst in the NFL. So they're trailing in 5 of the last 6 games. They can't keep doing that. Hopefully, they can start to turn this around. Check out the kickoff show on PhiladelphiaEagles.com at 7:30. One thing this year, Birds are undefeated in night games. Just throwing it out there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the game. Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by your local Tri-State Toyota dealers, proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. Pepsi, your new official soft drink of your Philadelphia Eagles. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Pick up your Eagles Fast Play ticket today.